Hello, welcome to this channel. Today we will learn about the explosive situation that threatens to completely destroy Johnny DiMera and Chanel's dreams of becoming parents to baby Tesoro. Sophia's devastating campaign against the adoption. The atmosphere in Salem has become increasingly tense as Sophia Choi orchestrates what can only be described as a calculated campaign of destruction against Johnny and Chanel's adoption hopes. Her latest maneuver involves crafting a meticulously detailed complaint to Child Services, painting the couple as fundamentally unfit guardians for the precious infant she abandoned at the fire station months ago. This isn't merely a simple objection, it's a comprehensive character assassination designed to obliterate any chance of the adoption proceeding smoothly. The timing of Sophia's intervention couldn't be more devastating for the hopeful parents. Johnny and Chanel have spent countless hours preparing their home, completing mountains of paperwork, and emotionally preparing themselves for the life-changing moment when Tesoro would officially become their son. Their excitement has been palpable throughout Salem, with friends and family witnessing their transformation from a couple dreaming of parenthood to prospective parents on the verge of achieving their ultimate goal. The scandalous allegations that could change everything. Sophia's most damaging weapon in her arsenal against the adoption comes in the form of shocking photographs that she claims expose Johnny's inappropriate conduct with his film student, Holly Jonas. These images, allegedly showing Holly in her pajamas, form the cornerstone of Sophia's false narrative about Professor DiMera's supposed violation of professional boundaries and moral conduct. The implications of such accusations extend far beyond the adoption process, threatening to destroy Johnny's teaching career and reputation within the Salem community entirely. The strategic brilliance of Sophia's scheme lies in her ability to weave together circumstantial evidence into a compelling story of misconduct. She has carefully documented what she presents as a pattern of inappropriate behavior, knowing that the mere suggestion of impropriety between a professor and student carries enormous weight with social services agencies. Her complaint doesn't simply mention the photographs, it contextualizes them within a broader narrative of Johnny's alleged unfitness as a potential father and role model. The social worker's visit transformed into interrogation. What should have been a routine home inspection and final approval process has now morphed into something far more sinister and threatening. Instead of the celebratory visit that Johnny and Chanel anticipated, they now face the prospect of an intensive interrogation designed to investigate the serious allegations Sophia has leveled against them. The social worker's agenda has completely shifted from evaluating their readiness for parenthood to investigating potential criminal behavior and moral failures. The couple's carefully prepared responses about their parenting philosophy, financial stability, and loving home environment may prove entirely irrelevant if the focus shifts to defending Johnny against accusations of professional misconduct. Their dream of a warm, welcoming evaluation where they could showcase their baby-proofed apartment and discuss their hopes for Tesoro's future has been replaced by the nightmare scenario of having to prove Johnny's innocence while simultaneously demonstrating their worthiness as adoptive parents. Johnny's battle against false accusations. The psychological toll of defending oneself against fabricated allegations cannot be understated, and Johnny finds himself in the impossible position of proving a negative. He must convince the social worker that nothing inappropriate occurred with Holly, despite the existence of photographs that Sophia has skillfully manipulated to support her narrative. The burden of proof has effectively shifted to Johnny, who must now reconstruct events and provide context for images that were taken without his knowledge or consent. His insistence on innocence, while truthful, may sound hollow in the face of seemingly damning photographic evidence. The photos show Holly in a state of undress, and without proper context about the circumstances surrounding their capture, they paint a picture that supports Sophia's allegations perfectly. Johnny's reputation as a respected professor and devoted husband to Chanel suddenly hangs in the balance, dependent on his ability to provide convincing explanations for situations he may not even remember or fully understand. The potential unraveling of Sophia's master plan. However, Sophia's elaborate scheme contains the seeds of its own destruction, particularly if Johnny and Chanel discover the shocking truth about her identity as Tesoro's biological mother. Her recent confrontational encounter with Johnny in the town square, combined with her obvious knowledge of his private phone conversations with Holly, has created a trail of suspicious behavior that could ultimately expose her involvement in the anonymous complaint to Child Services. The irony of Sophia's situation becomes increasingly apparent as her determination to keep Tesoro away from Johnny and Chanel may actually serve to reveal her deepest secret. Her emotional investment in the adoption outcome far exceeds what would be expected from a casual observer, and her intimate knowledge of details about the case suggests a personal connection that goes beyond mere concern for the child's welfare. Smart observers in Salem are beginning to notice inconsistencies in her behavior that point toward a much more personal motivation for her interference. Holly's crucial role in exposing the truth. Holly Jonas emerges as a potentially crucial witness in unraveling Sophia's web of deception, particularly since she possesses first-hand knowledge of Sophia's presence in her dorm room and the circumstances surrounding the controversial photographs. Her testimony could provide the missing context that transforms the seemingly damaging images from evidence of misconduct into proof of Sophia's manipulative scheming and invasion of privacy. The young woman's recollection of events surrounding the photo session could completely undermine Sophia's narrative and expose the calculated nature of her plot against Johnny and Chanel. If Holly can establish that Sophia had access to her living space and opportunity to capture the compromising images, it would shift the entire investigation from Johnny's alleged misconduct to Sophia's criminal behavior in orchestrating an elaborate frame-up designed to sabotage the adoption process. The high-stakes consequences await. The fallout from Sophia's schemes threatens to extend far beyond the immediate adoption proceedings, with potential ramifications that could reshape multiple relationships and reputations throughout Salem. If her biological connection to Tesoro is exposed while her complaint to Child Services is active, she faces not only the loss of her anonymity but also potential legal consequences for filing false reports and attempting to manipulate the child welfare system for her own emotional needs. Days of Our Lives spoilers promise that this intensifying storyline will continue to escalate as more secrets emerge and the true depth of Sophia's deception becomes apparent to the Salem community. The battle for Tesoro's future has evolved into a complex web of lies, manipulation, and hidden motives that threatens to destroy innocent lives while potentially exposing the most carefully guarded secrets in Salem. Next, Thursday, September 25, 2025. Days of Our Lives recap, Sophia schemes, Holly spirals, EJ and Gwen plot, and Salem plunges into darkness. Hello and welcome back to another dramatic breakdown of Days of Our Lives. Salem never has a quiet night, and this episode proved it once again. From Holly's vulnerable evening of heartbreak and temptation, to Johnny's desperate attempt to protect her, to Sophia's malicious schemes reaching new heights, and even a shocking citywide blackout, Thursday's episode gave fans enough suspense and tension to keep them glued to the screen. Holly's breaking point, grief, temptation, and a crash that changes everything. The night began quietly enough in Holly's dorm room. While the party downstairs raged on, with music echoing through the halls and students celebrating the start of a new semester, Holly sat alone. She tried to focus on her paper, pouring her energy into work as a way to distract herself from the painful breakup with Tate. Her heart was still raw, and the silence of her room only made it worse. Enter Ari, her well-meaning but mischievous roommate. Carrying a bottle of alcohol, Ari barged into the room, determined to drag Holly out of her slump. She teased her friend, urging her to stop wallowing and start living. Come downstairs, she pushed. Forget Tate, meet some cute guys, have fun for once. Ari meant well, but her cure for heartbreak was a dangerous cocktail of booze and distraction. At first, Holly resisted. She wanted to finish her paper, prove she could focus on something productive instead of drowning in sadness. But fate, and perhaps Sophia's unseen hand, had other plans. Just as Holly neared the finish line, her laptop suddenly glitched. The screen froze, files vanished, and within seconds her entire paper was gone. Now, in the modern age of autosave and cloud backups, that kind of total wipe is almost unheard of. But in Salem, where strange coincidences and malicious forces seem to thrive, Holly's crash was more than just bad luck. Whether it was a genuine technical failure or sabotage remains to be seen, but one thing was certain: Holly was devastated. She stared at the blank screen as her hands shook, the frustration boiling into despair. Johnny steps in, but Sophia is listening. Panicked and vulnerable, Holly listened to Ari's advice: text Johnny. He'll know what to do. Despite her pride, Holly followed through. Instead of replying with a quick message, Johnny immediately called, his voice calm but urgent. Holly explained the situation, her voice cracking with stress. Johnny reassured her, promising they would figure something out. His tone was protective, almost tender, and for a brief moment Holly felt safe again. But Johnny's concern deepened when he realized she had been drinking. Even though she insisted she was fine, the faint slur in her words betrayed her. Johnny gently urged her to stop, to close the laptop and get some sleep. He wasn't angry, just worried, the kind of worry that showed he cared more than he probably should. And that's exactly what Sophia was counting on. Standing behind Johnny, barely concealing her smirk, Sophia listened to every word. She didn't even bother pretending to leave him privacy. As Johnny hung up, Sophia returned to her sinister project, her written report accusing Johnny of engaging in an inappropriate relationship with a student. Every look of concern he gave Holly, every kind word he spoke, Sophia twisted into evidence for her story. This was Sophia at her most dangerous, manipulative, ruthless, and convinced she was untouchable. Salem has seen its share of villains, but Sophia's methods stand out. She doesn't need poison, kidnappings, or dramatic confrontations. She wields rumors, lies, and half-truths like weapons, tearing lives apart quietly while maintaining her own mask of innocence. EJ and Gwen's plot thickens. While Johnny struggled with his emotions and Sophia schemed in the shadows, another pair of Salem troublemakers made progress on their own agenda. EJ Mara and Gwen have been carefully laying the groundwork for their next big move, one that could reshape power in Salem. Though details remain tightly under wraps, their hushed conversations and subtle exchanges made it clear, whatever they're planning isn't small. Gwen, once dismissed as little more than a chaotic outsider, has been proving herself a clever strategist in recent months. And with EJ's sharp mind and ruthless ambition backing her, their partnership could soon pose a very real threat to Salem's balance of power. In Thursday's episode, their plotting moved one step closer to fruition. Though the writers left much of their scheme off-screen, the tension in their dialogue suggested that the storm is coming, and it will catch many by surprise. The blackout, Salem plunges into darkness. Just as emotions reached their peak, Salem itself seemed to rebel. Without warning, the city was plunged into total darkness. Power lines failed, lights flickered out, and the bustling energy of the town gave way to silence and confusion. For viewers, the blackout was more than just a backdrop. It symbolized the growing chaos in Salem, the loss of stability, the uncertainty creeping into every corner of its citizens' lives. In practical terms, the blackout also provided the perfect cover for villains like Sophia, EJ, and Gwen to maneuver unseen. Holly's dorm went silent, the hum of her laptop vanishing along with the light. Alone in the dark, with her thoughts spiraling, Holly's vulnerability deepened. Johnny, across town, stared into the sudden shadows, his instinct to protect her only growing stronger. Meanwhile, Sophia's wicked grin in the glow of a single candle revealed she was more than ready to exploit the chaos. Final thoughts: Salem on the edge. Thursday's episode of Days of Our Lives pulled no punches. Holly's fragile state, Johnny's protective instincts, and Sophia's ruthless plotting created a tense triangle of drama. Add to that EJ and Gwen's advancing plan and a citywide blackout, and Salem has never felt more dangerous.